presently. But adding to that hunger and hardship is also an housing crisis in Abuja, where people have to, with 6 times of your salary, you will still be living far away at the outskirts of the town. And this is not something that should be obtainable in any country that is responsible to its citizens. We have also raised the fact that the sacrifice that the government claims to be making, they are not making any sacrifices. They are actually making us, the people, the sacrifices for them to keep being rich. To move to the last section, protest is our democratic right. We stand with Nigerians, and the time for mass struggle is now. This might be the major part which is most controversial about this press conference. And it is that since the charter for a protest has started earlier this month, the federal government has come out in many ways to try to discourage us from protesting. Our parents did not fight against the military. They did not fight against the military, lose their lives fighting against the military just for us to come and lose the right to protest. Because the right to protest is the most sacrosanct part of democracy. In fact, many people who do not know about the fact that we are supposed to have a protest about hunger and hardship are going to be coming to this protest just because they are angry at the fact that they are telling us to not protest. Which equivocally states that Nigerians have the right to protest, peaceful assembly, and free speech. No government, no matter the number of votes you got in an election, has the right to stop the people from dissenting. And what we've seen recently is that the government has been threatening, and they are saying that because of the issues of national security, that we should not embark on the protest, that they have intelligence, that some people want to hijack the protest and make it violent. Please, a responsible government, by now, if they are saying that since like 2 weeks ago, by now you have identified those people who want to cause violence and take them out of the space. And so that we that want to do peaceful protest can peacefully protest. But they are not doing that. Instead, they are asking us to not protest. Now, the demands of our protest, the question is that in a democracy, I can decide I want to protest for anything. The demand of the protest should not be justified. So one of the arguments that they've been making is that our demands are not justified. Tinubu is still working. The demands of a protest does not have to be justified before we can have a protest. And so this is the point we are making. We are saying that if Nigeria is going to be a democracy, Nigerians, the government should be urging Nigerians to exercise their rights to be citizens of their country, which is their right to protest. Our government should understand that an unused right is an abused right. And so we are going to use our right to protest by August 1. On this basis, we support the call of mass protest by Nigerians everywhere across the country. That protests should start by August 1 to address all of these issues with the theme of end bad governance. We will not fold our arms while political office holders mislead our country into ruin and peril and hardship and hunger and poverty. Last but not the least, let us make it clear that the security threats that the government has been giving us, we hear it very loud and clear. We are not leaders of the protest. We are mobilizers of the protest. Just like NSAS, our protest is the protest of the masses. No leaders are going to be picked up. No leaders are going to be coerced and manipulated to relinquish our struggle until our demands are met. On that basis, we would like to state clearly that we are using this opportunity to warn the Nigerian police that if you want to come to our protest, please come and protest against your unpaid salary. Come and protest against your low salary, your low allowances. Come and protect protesters. Come and protect protesters. Please do not come to incite violence in our protest. No state agent or agent provocateurs should come to our protest to incite violence. They will be dealt with decisively, and not by us. We can only promise that we will mobilize for protest. We will not stop Nigerian masses from defending themselves. If they have been attacked, if they have learned from NSAS and the massacres that was the major feature of NSAS, we will not stop them from defending themselves. And so we are warning the Nigerian government to not incite violence. because they have history of inciting violence during protest. We still have pictures of people holding machetes attacking protesters in Lagos. We must also state this clearly, that some have said that our protest is because we want to install a military government. We detest military dictatorship. Let that be loud and clear. Our protest is for our right to live as human beings in our own country. And for that reason, we do not support a military takeover. And so nobody should blackmail us that those are protesting are in support of a military takeover of Nigeria. We are exercising a democratic right, which is the right to protest. And on that basis, we want to also warn the military that Nigerians have learned from Lekki massacre and other massacres during the NSAS. We want to warn the DSS that we have learned over the years, and we will not stay silent, and we will not be responsible for that. It will be the cross of the Nigerian government. Every protester is a leader of that protest. And if they are asking that who are those that have mobilized for this protest, the simple answer is that it is the Tinubu government and the cronies of the government themselves who are mobilized for this protest through the economic hardship they've melted on Nigerians. Because we ask, the problem of insecurity, does it exist? The answer is yes. The problem of hunger, does it exist? The answer is yes. Of economic hardship, does it exist? The answer is yes. The government changed the national anthem just recently. But the national anthem on the street has not changed. It is that of hunger, insecurity, and poverty in the midst of abundance. And of course, to also try to point out that just last week, the government embarked on some sinister attempts to demobilize and harass Nigerians. In Kano and Sokoto, Nigerians youth, about 2 persons were arrested by the DSS. We are also using this opportunity to call for their immediate release. Attempt to arrest or harass or intimidate protesters will not be accepted by us. And to also point out the NSAS protest, because in the media these days, the government keep asking us not to protest because they don't want what happened during NSAS to repeat itself. I have said this repeatedly. The NSAS protest, all of us here were part of it. No protester came to the protest with machete. No protester came with the protest with gun. Protesters joined the protest with placards for a Nigerian flag and their voices for it to be heard. Those who unleashed attack, violence on the NSAS protest are first the Nigerian police in Lagos, Abuja, and in key places where the protests organized. In Abuja here, on the very first day, the police attacked the protest at Berger Bridge. Protesters were attacked there, so that we are not people who are not peaceful. But it is the government that should be advised not to embark on what they embarked on during the NSAS by intimidating, attacking, and even killing Nigerian youth who are all out to seek for good governance. So we want to make our demands clear. Of course, we've explained some of these things before now. But to get it clear, the first demand we are making is that the government should not just tell us about sacrifice and patience. They must also demonstrate it from their hand, which is why we are stating clearly as our first demand that if the government is truly responsible or ready to initiate discussion with Nigerian youth, the first step should be that all political office holders, both elected and appointed, must be placed on the same salary structure, salary scheme with Nigerian workers. We don't want a society where workers will be subjected to 70,000 naira minimum wage. And people who are just meant to work for 4 years, either elected or appointed, will be going home with millions and billions of naira in their account. We feel that one of the problems we have is that Nigerian
those who claim to be leading us and people who are being led, we live in a sharply different economic reality. It is the reality of an economic system where Nigerians have to go to hospitals that are not well equipped, while our leaders have to fly to America, Dubai or so for medical tourism, which is why we are making this as the first point of call, that all both elected and appointed political officers must be placed on the same salary structure with Nigerian workers. And secondly, we identified that the increment in fuel price and tariff of electricity is one of the major factors that has led to the decline in the economic condition of the Nigerian masses. And we are calling for the reversal of all of the increment that has been carried out since the emergence of the Tinubu administration. Therefore, we are demanding that fuel price and electricity tariff should be returned back to the price it was before May 29, 2023. And again, we reject the proposed or the recently announced minimum wage of 70,000 naira for Nigerian workers. We believe that, based on calculation, even from the labor leaders themselves, who have calculated that for Nigerian workers to survive, they need to earn at least 615,000 naira in a month. And also refer to the World Bank speculation that as far back as 2022, that the extreme poverty line is $2.15, which will mean that in Nigeria of today, 3,000 naira per day for someone who can be categorized to be someone who is extremely poor. And there's no justification why Nigerian workers should be in that category, which is why we feel that the 70,000 naira that was passed recently is grossly inadequate and insufficient for Nigerian workers to live. Therefore, we are demanding that it should be reviewed and to a sum not less than 250,000 naira for Nigerian workers. And also, we are demanding for a progressive taxation system where the poor people do not have to pay for the enjoyment of the wealthy people. A taxation system that will take into account the inequality and wealth gap between the rich and the poor. Also, we note that within the last 1 year, essentially since the Tinubu government announced the student loan scheme, which we have expressed that this scheme itself is nothing but an attempt to turn Nigerian students into debtors. And we state clearly that the Nigerian state has enough resources to ensure that Nigerians get education that is quality, affordable, and free. We have lived in this same Nigeria where many of the leaders today benefited from a free education system, and for which even included free food given to Nigerian students at a point. I mean, that was even at the point where the major source of revenue of Nigeria was not even as large as it is today. So that there's no reason why Nigerians should become debtors just because they want to benefit from education. And we noted that recently, all the major universities, polytechnic and colleges, including the unity schools, have increased their school fees astronomically, exorbitantly. And we are calling for total reversal of all of the fees that have been increased from Uniben to OAU to Unilag.
All right, welcome back, wonderful people. How now they do today? You don't watch that particular video where the organizers of the 2024 protest against the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a result of the hunger, the inflation, and the hike of the prices of things in the nation. Every single person is angry. A lot of people are angry and they want to actually know what is actually happening in this nation, what is actually going on. What do you think about this coming protest that a lot of people want to protest against the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Please, can you drop your comments on the comment section? Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think about this coming protest. Do you want to participate? Do you feel that this protest should hold? Or do you feel that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be given more time to rectify things or to find things out? But the one that really touched me was where these people start stressing on how the government officials are living on the masses. They are like parasites on the bodies of the masses, because these government officials, these our presidents, our governor, the speakers, the House of Representative members, the judges, and the rest of them, when you look at their salary, the portfolio of their salary, you and I will agree that these people's salary is very high. Like some of them are earning in millions. Meanwhile, the masses who work every day are earning but just a peanut. And I am asking, is this how leadership should be? Because for me, from what I know about leadership, I thought that leadership is by example, and leadership is also a matter of sacrifice, where you sacrifice to make sure that your people you are leading, your subjects, are benefiting very well and your subjects are well taken care of. But in the issue of Nigeria, I think that the reverse is the case. It's not just thinking, the reverse is the case, whereby that the government officials go back with portfolios, go back with big, huge amount of money, while the citizens are passing through pain and penury. For example, you see a man who becomes a governor. The next thing after becoming governor is that man having a lot of estate, having a lot of investment, buying house America, buying house in London. And the question is, where is he getting the money to buy all these things from? Is this money not also coming from the coffers of the nation? And this will, help you to understand how bad our politicians have become. And these protesters are requesting that the increase in tariff of electricity tariff, the increase in fuel price since May 21st, that Tinubu assumed office, their demand is that all these tariffs should be cut down to how it was before. Remember that there was a time we were crying that fuel has gotten to 250, and from there, we thought that was going to be the end of the world. From there, it was increased to 400, to 500, to 700, 800. Fuel today is closing to 800 and something naira, and very soon it will be going to 1,000. And it looks as if these people just increase price every day just to favor themselves. Meanwhile, the masses, who are part of the owners of these mineral resources, who are part of the owners of the monies of this nation, are there suffering. Why? Political agents, political machineries are there enjoying themselves. And this is what I called a very big, bad governmental system that need to be looked into. Meanwhile, go down to the comment section and drop your comment. Tell me, what do you think about the August 1st protest? Do you think that protest is going to sort anything? Do you think that the protest is going to solve any issue? Because this is not the first time a protest is being held in this country without bearing any fruit. There has been the Osa Abiola, there has been the NSAS, there has been a lot of them, Kaduna, and the rest of them that took place in the years past, but still, these protests were not able to yield any fruit. And for me, I think that Africans give up easily, because Africans love their life more than anything, and that is why they have continued to lose their life. As the scripture says, that they that love their life will lose it, and they that do not love their life will gain their life back again. And I think that these white folks don't love their life. What they love is that their environment become better, and you see them getting their life back again. But here in Africa, black man loves his life so much that he is not willing to make sacrifice for what is law, for what he loves. He loves his life more than his nation. He loves his life more than his society. He loves his life more than even his sibling, his family. He loves his life more than his better future, and that is why mostly the Africans has refused to progress because of how much they love their life. Drop your comments on the comment section and tell me, what do you think about this protest? How do you feel about the protest? What do you think? How do you think that if the protest should hold, how do you think that it should be held? If the protest should stop, tell me what are your reasons that you feel like, okay, this protest should not hold, this protest should not go on. And if you think that the protest should go on, tell me also what are your reasons. Also, secondly, tell me what you think about this present government and how things are going. Do you think that maybe this government somehow will fix the challenges that has bedeviled and faced this nation? Or do you think that this government should step down so that another person that knows how to do the work will be able to do the work? But the questions, who is the best to do this work and who knows it better? Thank you.